let's get started today. As we know, with the version 2.0, we actually have some archetypes arriving sooner than when they will arrive with 2.5. And since we have some of them split off, we have very interesting ones. And one of my favorite ones, thanks to Liberator, is here, as we will be focusing on the aquatic strategy here, as this has received a lot of support in its own line. And I can't wait to talk about it in today's What's the Scoop. But remember, as always, we have one little request of you, and that's to help out by accelerating the sub count. With your help by subscribing and liking the video, it increases our chances of being shown out, and it allows the ad army to grow with your support. And as always, for those who may be here for the first time, or you've been here as a regular, when you get a first look at these cards, I also get to and tell you the great information that allows you to understand these cards so that you don't have to go searching for it yourself, as you can sit back, relax, listen, or watch and enjoy this video. As we're jumping straight into today's topic, we have the aquatic strategy. This has been a strategy that existed for a while, but with this new support, the deck has actually come relatively together into its own little space, and it has a lot of cards, and thankfully, due to Liberators showcasing this strategy in this deck specifically, I have a lot of cards to showcase in the base aquatic strategy, but I also have supporting aquatic cards that are also a part of this deck, and I will be getting into all of it today. So we're going to jump straight into it, as we have first Puyoyomon, which is returning here as a level 2 for the strategy, as it says during the opponent's turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attacks, by returning this Digimon with aquatic or sea animal in any of its traits to the bottom of the deck, you return one of your opponent's Digimon with as high or lower a level as the returned Digimon to the hand. This also carries the Liberator trait, so very important to know, as we are going to be looking at Sangomon here for Liberator, as it will have an on play where you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You get to add 1 card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits, and 1 card with the Liberator trait among them to the hand. After that, you return the rest to the deck bottom. It is always treated in its trait as having the aquatic typing, and additionally, for its inheritable, at the end of the attack, once per turn, you get to gain 1 memory. Also, Sangomon happens to be a Liberator card as well, so just wanted to point it out. Next, we have another level 3 associated with this. This is the brand new Swimmon here. So it actually carries Evade as its main skill, which is pretty interesting. It is always treated as carrying the aquatic trait, and its inheritable is very simple. It carries Jamming, so very good there. As we will be looking at the new Shellmon here, designed for this strategy, that when digivolving, you may have one or fewer Tamers. You may play 1 Yao King Lin from your hand without paying the cost. Additionally, it is always treated as having the aquatic type, and then for its inheritable, it has end of attack once per turn. You get to gain 1 memory, and as before, this Digimon also carries Liberator in its typing additionally. And I'm going to try to pronounce this as best as I can, thanks to the the second line of the Holy Beast Bird Digimon, as we have I also translating this from English to Japanese, guys, assuming this is what they wanted when it's translated to English, as we have Shikemon, which is on play when digivolving. You return 1 of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to the hand. It is always treated having the aquatic type, and it carries Jamming as well as its inheritable, so that's very good. And next, we're going to have a beast of a card here. This is the new Marine Bullmon here, as it is basically the new paramount card of the strategy, which introduces the brand new decode and skill, as already decode quick. So decode blue level 4. When this Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle, you may play 1 level 4 blue Digimon card from its Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost. On play and or when digivolving, you may place 1 Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from your hand as one of your Digimon's bottom Digi-Evolution cards. This is always treated as having aquatic in its type, and it's for its inheritable. At the end of an attack once per turn, you may play 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost. This also carries Liberator in its typing, so very cool. As we have another supporting Digimon line here, this is Huankumon, where it carries Blocker additionally, and that on play or when digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, 1 of your Digimon can't be deleted in battle. And additionally, for its inheritable, it has your turn. This Digimon's attack targets can't change, so blocker can be used, but something like redirection cannot actually change your attack declaration. So moving into the top end, we have the brand new and the beautiful DIGIMON here, which is the top end, as it carries decode for specifically blue level 5s. As this card, when digivolving, you may play one level 4 or lower blue Digimon card from this Digimon's Digievolution cards without paying the cost. At the end of your turn, once per turn, by returning one of your Digimon to the bottom of the deck, return one of your opponent's Digimon with as high or lower a level as it to the bottom of the deck. This is always treated as having the aquatic typing, as it is also a Liberator Digimon, so very cool here. As finally, we have the brand new Shangpengmon here, which carries security attack +1 and blocker as its innate skills. And then when digivolving one of your Digimon unsuspends, then by placing one of your other Digimon with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits as this Digimon's bottom Digievolution cards, you get to gain 3 memory. And for the rule trait is always treated as having the aquatic typing, so very cool. As we get to the signature Tamer here, we have Yao Qinglen, as we will read her effects. So at the start of your main phase, obviously this is a memory setter, you get to set your memory to 3, no strange conditions here. Then during your turn, when any of your Digimon with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of their traits attacks, by suspending this Tamer, you may place one level 5 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in any of its traits from your hand as any of their bottom Digievolution cards. And then obviously for its security, you get to simply play it out. And this is a Liberator Tamer, so it is important because it can be searched. Finally, we have the option card for this archetype, which is Wadasumi Purification, which during the main effect, return one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon to the bottom of the deck. By returning one of your blue Digimon to the bottom of the deck, instead, return one of your opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon to the bottom of the deck. For its security effect, you obviously just activate this card's main effect, and this is also a Liberator option card, which is important for searching. And that is all of the cards for the aquatic strategy coming out of Special Booster 2.0. Let's talk about this strategy because it's really different in a unique way. And I do think this is a great deck for people who may be beginning to try to pick up this deck, because I like decks like this for many games where you don't have to directly invest much into the deck. And I'm not just saying money. I mean, you don't have to invest a lot of brain power with this deck. It has some combos, but they're not too difficult to understand. You have a lot of cards to work with as well, in terms of it being pseudo-generic with Aqua and Sea Beast, or Sea Animal in this case. So you have a lot of different cards you can work with. It's also a Liberator-based strategy, so it can be searched through something like Vortex Resonance and other cards as such. But the main strategy is here, it works with the aquatic cards. The Shikumon as well as Jingpenmon line is just fantastic to have for a strategy like this, because you basically have an additional top end in the set when it comes out. So basically collecting all these cards, as they're not super high rarity. I think Ryugumon's the only one that's probably going to be hard to get, is because it's a super rare. Otherwise, the rest of this deck will be cheap, but it's not a weak deck by any means. Now, the main focus I want to talk about, it being in blue, fantastic. There's lots of cards you can use to effectively boost your strategy. This strategy focuses effectively around a very interesting mechanic, in that with the use of decode on the top end, but in the middle stages, you're basically filtering your sea animals and your aquatic Digimon in and out of the game. So by allowing them to use like Puyoyomon's effect to bounce themselves back out from your hand, this allows you to remove threats from your opponent. It's a really unique way, because blue was one of the first decks to kind of focus on bouncing. It's just, it didn't really do it too much, but it did it okay. And now we have a deck that's actually very good at using the aquatic strategy we've seen before, but instead of just directly playing out Digimon, it also focuses on using that bouncing mechanic of your own Digimon as a way to remove your opponent's threats. So that's very cool here. Obviously, Sangomon is a Digimon that may not be everybody's favorite, but it's definitely going to steal hearts, because this Digimon is fantastic in this strategy. It searches for Liberator cards as well, which basically allows it to search its entire line that's related to it, as well as its Tamer and the option card, as well as any other future support that might be Liberator based, it will allow you to search it, which is very good for like hybrid decks, as well as, you know, various strategies that might be blue. So, you know, you can't beat that there. Swimmon having jamming is just so cool, because being an aquatic card, you just slide this under your Digimon and there you go. You have jamming already, so it doesn't matter. You can swing into your opponent's security freely. Then if you lose your Digimon, you can use Decode to bring back something like Shellmon, or even, Shellmon, and then with Ryugumon, you can bring back your level 5s. So you have an entire setup here where it's just simply bouncing opponent's Digimon, running to the security with less threats. You have a big threat that they built on the field. You can use Pyoyomon's effect. You can use it to bounce your own Digimon back. Ryugumon can bounce its own allies back to your hand, and you bounce their Digimon away. So there's always some type of cycling that's really good here. Looking at both, or basically really quickly at the Zhengpengmon online, I really like that they're additionally added because their effects are very simple. Shikumon, or I think I said whatever it was pronounced in Japanese. This Digimon also having jamming is cool because you have a level 3, you also have a level 4. You have jamming accessible to the archetype, so you just kind of pump it out as quickly as you can. I also really like the fact that Marine Bullmon's Inheritable is able to allow you to play level 4 or lower cards from within your traits back out. So you basically turn your level 6 into a way to disperse more of your Digimon back to the field. So you're always trying to keep economy of what's in your evolution line, but also it spreads your field out, which is just really cool. And we talking about Yao Qinglan. I think she's a very good tamer for the strategy. I don't really think a lot of tamers, when the first time they're hit around for strategies, until like recently with Liberators, have actually hit the mark in terms of what decks need to function. She is probably one of the best tamers for facilitating their strategies, and I just really like what she does, because by allowing you to effectively place your level 5 or lower cards into your traits when you're attacking, this basically just means if you can cycle back one of your jamming rookies or champion jammers and slide it underneath, you're able to now just give your Digimon jamming inherently. So this is just really good for the strategy. It keeps looping back is the point, where you're able to bounce back maybe something with jamming into your hand. Then you're going to go ahead and slide it underneath your new line with jamming. And basically you're just continuously keeping the loop of hitting security with jamming and causing a lot of damage. So very, very good here. And then finally, with Watasumi Purification here, this card is fantastic in that for 5 costs, you're basically just bouncing a level 4 or lower to the bottom of the deck, which at first you'd think, it's not that good. But when it says bottom of the deck, I'm like, yeah, that's actually pretty strong. Because if your opponent needed a specific card and you put it on the bottom, there's like a very little chance they're going to get to it. Because, you know, there's not direct searching in Digimon, where you can't just go through your deck to get what you need. You have to kind of go through the top deck. This card is very powerful for that. But then by when you return one of your blue Digimon to the bottom of the deck, you basically get to hit one of their level 6 or lower Digimon at the bottom. The reason that this is kind of cool in your case is that you can basically just put back a free level 3 you had through like maybe not through Decode, but the Inheritable of Marine Bullmon, and now you're putting it to the bottom of your deck. Now you're getting rid of like their level 6 Digimon. That's like really cool, and it's very powerful for a level, or a cost 5 option. So this strategy is very simple. When it comes to me telling you how you're supposed to play the deck, luckily this all the chapters for this strategy are up on the Digimon Liberators page. So when you want to go check it out in the graphic novel, you can go ahead and check it out. You see her battle against the main protagonist as Yao Qinglan uses her deck to effectively showcase how you're supposed to play the strategy against something like the Terramon-based Avion Liberator deck. But the main focus that I want to get across here is that this strategy is very simple to use. I think even if you're a new player, you will be able to grasp this strategy very well, and it's not difficult to get the hang of. It allows you to kind of mess around in that you can kind of filter out other Digimon cards that have good inheritables. You also have a really good aquatic Digimon. Something like Zudomon Ace is actually a very good card I want to talk about, because in the case of something like the, where is it here, in the Marine Bullmon, you're able to effectively kind of use this as your aggressive tool, but Zudomon Ace could be something like your passive defensive tool, because you're not really stripping sources doesn't matter as much in this strategy because this aquatic version isn't focused on it. But the main focus I want to get here is that you can also use Marine Bullmont's Inheritable to play out a level 4, so that you now have access for Zudomon Ace to hit the field, as it will have a specific ace target here. So you can just blast Digivolve into it, and if you play out, say, Jukumon, you're now having jamming. I mean, that's kind of the point I'm getting across here. It starts to get better the more you talk about the strategy and realize how many different cards fall under the aquatic typing. But pretty much that's what I've got for you guys today. Like I said, if you want to know how to play this deck well, or play it pretty good, just go ahead and check out the Liberators page and read the Yao King Lin versus Shoto match. It's pretty cool. And other people maybe have been experiencing with the strategy, so go ahead and give them a look on YouTube. But pretty much that's all I've got for you guys today. This has been What's the Scoop with Aquatic for BT 2.0. And as always, this has been Brad from the Ed Army signing off. And for all of you out there, to sign on.